brotherhood is an unbreakable bond, born from trust, rarely from blood. Hey guys, Sphamedia here, and today I'm going to be covering the history of Monkey D Luffy, Ace D Portgas, and Sabo. Luffy was born in the small village of Fuchsia, where he had a relatively uneventful time, but at age 7, he meets a man known as red-haired Shanks, the leader of a pirate crew. After he meets him, he tries to join his crew, but he's told that he's too young, but the crew would stay on land for a while. But whilst on land, a group of bandits start trouble with red-haired Shanks. They start an argument and spill booze over Shanks' head. To the surprise of Luffy though, Shanks tries not to fight with these bandits. Shanks explains to Luffy the value of forgiveness and that a fight may cause trouble for the bar. Luffy's distraught, and in frustration he eats a piece of fruit that he finds lying in a box. Unbeknownst to Luffy, this would be a turning point in his life, as he had just eaten the gum fruit. Shanks tries vigorously to make the boy throw up and expel the fruit from his body, as he knows the damage that can do to him, but it's already too late, as Luffy has been turned into rubber and has a devil fruit ability, but he has sacrificed his ability to swim, being detrimental to a potential future pirate. Luffy sees this as an opportunity, however, as he goes and tries to defend Shanks' honour, so he goes and confronts the bandits that had caused trouble in the bar, and despite the fact that he had gained tremendous power from eating this fruit, he was still a child and was easily dealt with by the bandits. Shanks hears the commotion outside and goes to see what's going on, and when he finds out that the bandits had caused trouble for Luffy, he decides that he and his crew should deal with the problem. He deals with most bandits swiftly, but the leader of the bandits uses a smokescreen and escapes, taking Luffy out to sea, the one place that Luffy couldn't be, and the last place that a group of pirates would expect to find a landlocked bandit. The problem with that plan was that a sea king was swimming around in those waters, and he attacks the boat that the bandit and Luffy were on, but in the nick of time, red-haired Shanks manages to save Luffy, but unfortunately his attempt has cost him his arm. When they get back to land, red-haired Shanks holds no ill will to Luffy and presents him with his straw hat, telling him that he wants him to return the straw hat back to him when he has become a great pirate, solidifying Luffy's dream to become the greatest pirate ever known. Soon after this incident, Luffy is visited by his grandfather, Monkey D Garp, who decides that he's made too much trouble where he was living, and decides to take him deep into the wilderness to live with a friend of his called Gol D Dan. She's also caring for another child that Garp had given her, Portgas D Ace, who had been living with her since he was a small child. You see, Ace is actually son of Gol D Roger, the last king of the pirates. On his execution date, Roger decides to tell Monkey D Garp to care for his unborn child. He does this because he trusts the honour of Garp being a marine admiral, and Garp agrees to do it out of respect for Roger. Ace was a trouble child. He knew the significance of the history of his father, and he would often get into fights with locals to defend the honour of his father. This of course left him with a really bad attitude. By the time he'd met Luffy, he decided to totally reject the potential of a brother and just spit in his face. Luffy was younger than Ace, but he wanted to be friends with him no matter what happened. You see, Shanks had given Luffy more than just his arm and his hat. He also gave him the will to forgive others and the meaning of friendship. During their early years, Ace befriended a child called Sabo, who lived in Grey Terminal, which is a massive junkyard in Dawn Island, the island where this story takes place. He ran away from home at a very young age and decided to live at the Grey Terminal because he felt no love from his family, who were actually nobility in Hightown, and he himself didn't want to grow up to be a cold noble. Ace and Sabo were young adventurous children, so much so that they wanted to save up money and buy a pirate ship and leave the island to find their own adventure. So they spent most of their time robbing cutthroats and pirates in the Grey Terminal and outside of the town, trying for years to save up for this boat that they wanted. But now that Luffy lived with Ace, he often spent a lot of time trying to follow Ace, which in turn led Luffy to their treasure. The boys didn't take to that very well, and they tie him to a tree and contemplate whether they should kill him or not for discovering the location of the treasure. Luffy, being young and gullible, began crying and screaming in an attempt to escape from this situation, but it led to a much worse one, as the Blue Jam pirates heard the noise from the woods and went to inspect what had happened. The three boys hide behind a bush, but when Luffy can't stop crying, the pirates find him. The other two boys freak out and expect Luffy to just fold and tell the pirates where they've been hiding their treasure, but Luffy ain't no snitch, yo. So they take Luffy back to a cabin so they can torture him and find out where the treasure is. Ace and Sabo see this as an opportunity to hide their treasure from the pirates, so Ace starts immediately moving the treasure from one place to the next. But Sabo has a bit more concern over Luffy. He goes looking but doesn't find him, and then realises that Luffy hasn't told the pirates over the period of about 12 hours where the treasure is. He's going to keep his mouth shut. Sabo runs frantically looking for Ace. He tells Ace that Luffy hasn't said a word and that they need to go and save him. So with a heavy heart riddled with guilt, The two run and try and save Luffy. They find out where the pirates had been keeping him, and the two boys make quick work of the pirates. From that day on, the boys were thick as thieves. Sabo, of course, being a little bit nicer to Luffy, but they loved each other all the same. Sabo decides to move out of Grey Terminal and move in with Gol D Dan, regardless of her negative disposition. The Brotherhood of Three would be born, but as time passed, they would all argue over who would be captain of their pirate ship when they escaped from this island. They realised at that point that they would need to set out separately as captains of their own ship, because if they were ever going to be true pirates, they would need to make a name for themselves by themselves. They decided to sit down with a stolen bottle of sake and make a toast, promising that their brotherhood would never fail and would never break. Unfortunately, all things change with time. Even after extensive training, they still weren't strong enough to secure their own freedoms, and during a trip to the junkyard to find more valuables, the pirates who captured Luffy previously returned for a different prize. You see, Sabo's father had been looking for him, and he would pay a very handsome prize to anybody who would bring him back to him. As soon as they were captured, Sabo saw the danger that his brothers would be in, and agrees to go with his father to make sure that his brothers were unharmed. This was probably the biggest mistake that Sabo's father could have made, because it alerts Sabo of the impending doom that has been brought upon his brothers. The nobles plan to clear the filth from the country, the junk, the trash, and even the poor citizens. In shame and in fear for his brothers, Sabo tries to escape and save them, but he is stopped by that army. But he was saved by a mysterious man in the shrouds, the man known as Monkey D Dragon, Luffy's biological father and leader of the revolution. The fire starts in the terminal, and Ace and Luffy have more than that to worry about. The grey terminal starts to burn, but Luffy and Ace have more to worry about, as the pirates have returned bloodthirsty and angry at the betrayal of the nobles. The boys are gravely injured, and if it wasn't for the efforts of Dan and her bandits, they surely would have died. The bandits take Luffy to safety, but Ace refuses to stand down from a fight, so Dan decides to stand with Ace against the evil pirate captain. It would be days later that Ace and Curly Dan would return to their base, broken, bruised and burned, but Sabo was unable to return, as he was captured by the Hightown army. He is told by his father that if he ever makes another attempt to escape, he will make sure that Ace and Luffy die at his hands. So instead of trying to escape to his friends, he decides to steal a fishing boat and start his journey early. He hears that his house will be empty whilst an Imperial Dragon is visiting the town. He sees it as an opportunity to escape his surroundings and steal the boat. He doesn't realise how bad a move this would be, because he doesn't understand the severity of the evil of the Imperial Dragons. One has just decided to shoot him out of the water because he was too close to his boat. Word of Sabo's death reaches Luffy and Ace, and at first they are angry and want revenge. Then when they realise the magnitude of the Imperial Dragons, they're met with great sadness, and they decide that they have to become stronger to be able to protect the ones that they love in life. Little did they know that Monkey D Dragon would make another daring rescue, this time saving Sabo and taking him onto the boat of the Revolutionary Army. But that's a story for another time. Never again would they truly reunite. They will never sit together as brothers again and share the taste of sake, but the brotherhood of Sabo, Ace and Luffy would live on in their hearts and in their journey. They would all set sail separately, but they would forever be together in their hearts. I know this video was a bit longer than usual, guys. I thought I'd give a big meaty story a try rather than making it a 2-3 minute thing. Let me know what you guys think down below. Should I keep it up? If there's any storylines like this you want me to cover in the future, let me know. I'd really like it if you hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.